Middle Tennessee is known for a rich cultural heritage, particularly in the music and the arts. One of the key cities in the area is Murfreesboro, which has earned its nickname Bucket City. Murfreesboro is home of Middle Tennessee State University, which plays a pivotal role in fostering artistic talent and promoting music education. Bucket City Mouthwash is a podcast that focuses on the artistic community in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and the broader Middle Tennessee region. The podcast serves as a platform to highlight the stories and projects of local artists, providing them with an opportunity to share their experiences, insights, and creative endeavors.
All right. Hey, Henry.
Howdy.
Hi. I'd like to start off just kind of talking about like when you first started playing shows and where you started playing shows.
Solo or in bands or like, I guess I first started playing shows like just things at like Knights of Columbus halls and things like that, and house shows when I was like 15, 16 in Dayton, Ohio. You know, some Battle of the Bands kind of stuff. Dayton, Ohio is, I guess, famous for Courage Crew, Straight Edge, so there's a big hardcore scene. And my brother was involved in that, and I was in a ska punk band, of course, because it was the 90s. And yeah, that's kind of where my start was. And then when I moved down here, I eventually started a band called the Bang Up, and we played the bar scene and did a couple of small tours. And then I only started playing solo because my band broke up and my other band kicked me out. And so I started playing solo just because I was doing a lot of booking, and I always needed at least one guaranteed local artist, you know, on a bill. So I was like, well, screw it. I'll learn how to play guitar and play some dumb songs. And here I am.
Can you tell us a story about anarchist at a voting booth or during an election year?
A song for an anarchist during an election year. That one is just basically everybody all my life was telling me like, well, if you don't vote, you know, then you can't really complain because you didn't take part in it. So my logic was I could go wait in line at the polls and stand in the voting booth. And that was the equivalent, not putting any vote in, just, okay. And that way I had the right to complain because I went through the process of waiting in line, even though I didn't vote for either one of the candidates or, you know. So I then would just, I guess that's the story right there. It was just me saying, well, I earned it. I can complain because I did participate.
Yeah. You still got the sticker. So the Burrow Bar and Grill just closed.
Yeah.
And I think Lee's told me his stories of you ordering in pizzas and then going and playing the shows.
Yeah, there was a point where I was booked to play a show, but I was also working. And so what we did was we had somebody order a pizza to the Burrow, and then I delivered the pizza, played my set, and left immediately after that, and then went back to work. And it was like a 20-30 minute set, but it was like, okay, pizza's here, let's go. And I think that was the most I was ever paid to play at the Burrow because I was on the clock at Sir Pizza.
Nice.
So that was the best way to get paid.
I think Lee's also told me his favorite pizza there is Palmer's Almanac.
Extra anchovies. Lee always gets the extra anchovies. Sir Pizza is actually kind of a key element in my musical story here, and it's kind of funny, but when I got there, it was all just DIY bands like Velcro Stars and Z28 and Big Nurse, all the high density headache recordings that Michael O'Flynn used to do. A lot of the there was a house on Tyne Street. What was that? It was a lot of the Ascent of Everest crew and whatnot. This house on Tyne Street, but it was just a bunch of like. That was when Murfreesboro went through the weirdo noise period of the middle aughts or something. Regardless, it was funny because Sir Pizza was like super overstaffed constantly, but it was all bands, and a lot of the times bands couldn't play shows together because well, okay, we got to work. And, oh, well, we're booked on this show. Do you want to open up? It's like, no, you're playing the show, so we have to work.
Yeah.
So there used to be a joke about doing a Sir Pizza Palooza in the back parking lot and just having all the bands that work there play and work there at the same time. So that way someone was always making the pizza and there was always a band on stage.
I think you always told me stories about hanging out on the roof back in the day.
Yeah, we Linwood Regensburg used to climb up there. He was from those Darlings and from several other projects. Like, I guess he plays with Low Cut Connie now. Regardless, he used to climb up there and like just launch 2 liters off of the roof into the parking lot, and they'd hit and just fly across that parking lot. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was an exciting and interesting time to work in pizza, and I'm still there, and no one else is. Like it's all new people, and now I'm running the show.
Is there still a slug wall?
There are still slugs. They all live outside.
Yeah, so upset. I just remember someone writing the story about the slugs.
I think that was Ryan Frizzell, but I'm not positive. He worked there right before I worked there, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I might be wrong on that.
How much shows have you done off of like Bell Street? You've done like the outside pop-up shows.
Oh, in the parking lot? Mm-hmm. Oh, I've only done the one, and I made it a pizza party. The parking lot on Bell Street, right across from the college. Basically, I was booked to do a show in Nashville at Dark Matter, and it got canceled because of the touring act had COVID, and the promoter didn't want to go through with it for some reason. And so I was like, well, I was already scheduled to have a show, and I was like, by golly, I'm going to do it. Let's do it in the parking lot at Bell Street. And I talked to my boss, the owner of Sir Pizza, and he was kind enough to donate several pizzas, and I was able to throw it as a pizza party in the Bell Street parking lot. And I want to do another one of those and get like other artists, but this was just I told everybody I was going to play a show, and I had friends who got off of work, so I'm going to put on a show just for them because usually some people miss me because, they have to work at night. Working at night sucks. But, so I basically made sure that they could see me. And it was a small gathering. It went over really well. But just free show in the Bell Street parking lot. And if anybody wants to hit me up on setting up another one and we can do like another acoustic show there, just pull up, play guitars until the cops kick us out or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of pop-up shows in the parking garages lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, some of the younger college kids over there.
Well, that's what I like to hear is, in fact, I wish I knew about these so I could attend them.
Yeah. But I think they're like once a week, once the semester starts. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So one story I definitely wanted to get into was the Henry of the Knife Daggs story and how that nickname.
Oh, well, the nickname came from a completely different story. Mm-hmm. But are you talking about the origin of I May Have Stabbed a Man Once?
Yes.
That song?
Or the like knife fighting at the
knife fighting in Canton, Ohio. Well, one of those was Kansas City and the other was Canton, Ohio. I can tell them both, but if this is edited wrong, it's going to paint me in a funny light. So, I got the nickname Henry the Knife Daggs. First off, I used to sell, like one night, I don't remember what year it was. I got really drunk and it was like it was New Year's Eve and I was by myself and I was watching Cutlery Corner, QVC kind of stuff. And they were running some really good deals on lots of like 300 pocket knives. And so I purchased a large number of pocket knives and I decided I was going to sell them on tour. And it was actually one of the better financial decisions I ever made while drunk. They weren't branded. They were just gas station knives. And people would always ask me, they're like, is this knife worth $5? I'm like, well, you'd pay $9 at a gas station for it. So yeah, it's it's way closer to worth 5 than 9. And, you know, I actually made money on that venture. But regardless, so I was selling knives out of the trunk of my car while on tour. And I got to Canton, Ohio, and I had sold a bunch of knives. And Michael Dean Dameron was playing. He was from a band called I Can Lick Any Son of a Bitch in the Room. I believe he just passed, actually. Regardless, he was playing a show, and I was joking about how I was going to just go and pull some tough guy shit. And, you know, because he's in a band called I Can Lick Any Son of a Bitch in the Room, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna spook him here. And so halfway through his set, me and Dalen Jones, the drummer from Most Beautiful Losers at the time, we both pulled out our pocket knives, and we held our right hands together and had our knives in our left, and we started recreating the Michael Jackson, what is that in Beat It, where they put their feet together and the guys start doing the knife fight. And so we started doing that, and it was kind of choreographed, but we were kind of way too drunk to be doing that. And Michael Dean Dameron stopped the song mid-song and said, "No, you guys, you can't knife fight in here." Oh, no. I was just looking at him like, oh, it was friendly, you know. So then the next night I went to drop a friend off in Columbus, Ohio. We were driving down there, and I was like, you know what? Michael Dean Dameron's playing at Andy Mann's Treehouse, and that was like my favorite venue in Columbus. I was like, I'm gonna go see this show and just stay the night in Columbus because I didn't have any other shows booked. And so I went there, and Micah Schnabel from Two Cow Garage, he was throwing this show, and I was trying to like cozy up to him because I wanted better booking contacts in Columbus. And he had played at my house at House Pride at one point. I believe that's where he played. Regardless, yeah, I was talking to him, and he was kind of keeping his distance, and then everyone was kind of keeping their distance from me, and then all of a sudden a stranger walks up and says, Are you Henry the Knife Daggs? I guess so. I guess. And yeah, then people started crowding around, and they were like, "Is it true you got in a knife fight last night?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So Michael Dean Dameron had gotten to Columbus before I did, and I guess that story spread. And now Canton, Ohio always welcomes me and thinks it's hilarious, but I have not been able to book a show in Columbus ever since. The Kansas City story, and forgive me, I ramble a lot. That was cough number 2. But the Kansas City story, I had a night where I decided I wasn't going to drink and I wasn't going to go out to the bar. And so it's just that I wasn't going to go out to the bar. But my friends invited me to pregame with them, right? And so I ended up drinking a 6-pack in about an hour or whatever and decided it was a great idea to go to the bar. So we went to the bar, and it was a place called the Riot Room. And I ordered a tall boy, and they came up, and they handed me a 24-ounce or a 2x4. And I was like, no, I wanted a tall boy. They're like, that's the one we got. So there I am drinking 24-ounce cans of PBR, and I was just, I don't know. Eventually, I don't remember the rest of the story. But I wake up the next morning, and totally naked in my sleeping bag at my apartment. I was like, what happened? So I get up, I get dressed, I go brush my teeth, and I put my hand back here, and I feel a knot on the back of my head. And I look in the mirror, and there's like a little bruise on the bridge of my nose. I'm like, oh man. And I was like, did I get rolled? Did I get so I go and I go to check my wallet, and all my money is still in my wallet. In fact, there was more money in my wallet than there was the night before. And I was like, oh no, did I rob someone? No. What's going on? So as I'm putting my wallet back, I feel my knife back there, and I'm like, oh, and I pull out my knife and I look at it, and there's blood on it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh no, I probably killed some random dude. And so I go and I talk to my friend who I was with, and he was like, yeah, at one point we went to Buzzard Beach, and then we came back to the Riot Room, and you took a nap. And I was like, oh, at a place called the Riot Room, there I am just like sleeping at a table, death metal blasting, like punk rock and shit. And he said, then you got up and said you had to go home. And I said, well, you're a big boy. You can make it home on your, because we were walking. We lived like 3 blocks from this bar. So it was not like go drive. It wasn't anything like that. But he said last he saw me, I was pushing through the crowd saying, I'm leaving, everybody out of my way, leaving. And he said that was the last he saw me. And I noticed when he was telling me this, I noticed that there were like a bunch of cockleburrs in my shoe. And I was like, there's no like plant life between the riot room and my apartment. So I was like, I must have walked somewhere else. Well, I spent the whole week thinking I murdered somebody. And I was just terrified. I was just like, I would go to work. I would lock myself in my house. I was reading the newspaper, looking at obituaries and like crime blotters and whatnot, and be like, And then the next week, a friend of mine comes into the liquor store where I was working, and he says, man, where have you been? I've been like, well, I've been hiding out because, and then I tell him the part of the story that I know. And he says, was that last Sunday? And I said, yeah, you know how I do it, Sunday, right? And he said, well, on Monday morning, I was at the Broadway Cafe, and a guy walked in, and his whole face was one big bruise. And somebody asked him what had happened to him. And he said, well, this guy was at the riot room, and he pushed his way through the crowd. And so I decided I was going to teach him a lesson, and I followed him. Turns out we had walked 3 blocks south instead of towards my apartment, and he was following me. And we got to a park where he jumped me, and he said, yeah, so I was going to teach him a lesson, and every time I threw a punch, this guy was like, it was like drunken master kung fu kind of stuff. He was just dodging, like, it was like he was falling, but it was like, I couldn't connect. And then eventually he connected and hit me in the back of the head, and I popped back up with my knife. And so that's the story of I may have stabbed a man once, but you can't prove nothing. So yeah, I just spent a week living in, and then later, I think Dillinger ended up in the local lockup, and he actually carved the words to that song in the wall. So supposedly it's in some cell. It's carved in the wall there.
Good times.
Forever immortalized.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell us some about getting started with like House Pride and living there? And
golly, that's a blur.
I used to have to pull Dillinger out of there to get him to work at SSC.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember how I ended up there. I think what happened was House Pride Records, when it was Nick Naote and Andrew Dietz and all the guys from Zombie Bazooka Patrol. I think they just re-released one of my records, one of my CDs, and we went on tour, and we used to tour with me, Andrew Dietz, and Nick Naote. And we would do it. We would book ourselves as like one act. And then we would just like rotate songs and play so that way each one of us is only playing 4 songs a night of our own, but we're backing each other up. But we would be able to book it as one act, but then sell 3 times as much merch was the idea. And so eventually they had a roommate move out, and I moved in, and I started helping running the record label, which was mostly, I mean, we use the word record label very, very loosely, as in like the idea was just to have a single flag to fly over a group of friends. That way, if you followed the trail, you would end up at the other bands and end up getting that. Like if you liked one band and you saw that logo, so it was more of just we all paid for our own stuff, and the record label, as a record label, what we would sometimes do is buy stuff in bulk and then sell it to the bands at like cost of the bulk, so they'd get a like really good deal without having to be stuck with like 10,000 CDRs and 50,000 like CD sleeves and whatnot. That's 3. I'm almost out of coughs. But Yeah, and then I moved in, and at one point we had 7 or 8 people there. This is before Dillinger's time. We had like 7 or 8 people there, and like 2 people were living in the tree house, and 1 person was living in like a little attic space that you had to walk through someone else's room to get to. And yeah, it was pretty wild, but rent was like nice.
Yeah, wasn't the tree like eventually like growing through the...
Oh yeah. The tree went through there. Well, we had like, you could get Wi-Fi up in the tree house. Like you could access our Wi-Fi, and we had, that's cool. At one point we had bookshelves up there.
That's super cool. I never went in the tree house.
And then we had a zip line too. Nick's cousin or someone, no, it's Nick's older brother or something, was the safety guy for Fear Factor at one point, and he had to build some things for that. And he came to visit at one point and built us a zip line that was a death trap. And yeah.
That's awesome.
But that got taken down, probably for the better.
Yeah, it's kind of like we talked about Avalon's water slide.
Right. Avalon's water slide is way more epic than our zip line. I'm sure you that.
Zip lines are fun. I guess.
But that water slide, that's a legend, and that will be told forever, and shown in reruns of Tosh.0 probably.
Yeah. I heard the story about them having an inspection, and Dillinger like spray painting the wall with the landlord's name.
They had an inspection because at that point I was like staying the night at my girlfriend at the time's house, who's now my wife. So I was staying at Rachel's house constantly every night, and every Thursday I'd call them up and be like, "Hey guys, trash day is tomorrow. Like, get the trash to the street." And they're like, yeah, we got it. It's going. And then I'd come back to do whatever, and there'd be more trash in the carport. And so one day, like, I think the landlord sent over his lackey, and the lackey saw these piles and piles of just garbage bags, and was like, okay, we're going to have to inspect the place, and you guys are probably getting evicted. And he had told Dillinger that, I guess. I wasn't there at the time. And, then when the landlord came to assess the situation, Dillinger was just sitting there and had, I guess they had wrecked the place. But so on my way out, I came back to get all my stuff. I left a lot of stuff. And what I did was I had this futon mattress that I slept on there. And this podcast is being called Unconventional Sleeping Arrangements of Henry Daggs, right? I went back to my sleeping bag, so there I am on my futon mattress. But on the futon mattress that I left there, I had a backpack full of old porno mags. And then I had some like leftover like clown makeup and wigs and like clown accessories, because I threw a clown themed half birthday party for myself one year. And so I had gone and I'd just purchased all the leftover Halloween stuff. And so this futon mattress is just covered in like clown makeup, clown wigs, porno mags, and like just random other stuff. And so I left that for the landlord to find, and I really hope that I hope he got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I heard when he saw Dillinger spray paint, he just like laughed and like took a picture.
He was ready for that to be over, because it was not always just the House Pride house. Before that, the Winslows lived there, Winslow family band, and so it was a notorious house show venue for like literally like 15, 20 years maybe. I don't even know, because I think there was someone before the Winslows. So it had always been an art house, and it's on the edge of town. So it kind of was like a pre-Crossroads, kind of that kind of model of if we get a house on the outskirts, then nobody's going to mess with us. Okay. But,
yeah.
We ended up messing with ourselves by not taking the trash out.
I used to be House of Hoff's trash ninja in high school.
Right.
I don't think Ash paid me. I think he just did. I just did it because I thought they were cool.
Well, when you find a space that you really love, you want to take care of, even as just a spectator, as a, someone who's showing up to shows, because like it's kind of important, because running these shows is a lot of work, and it's in your living space, and everyone's making trash while they're there. Everybody's drinking a 12-pack and crushing cans and throwing things. So like, I mean, it's respectable and noble. It's a noble deed that you were doing there, playing cleanup.
Yeah, we take it to like an apartment complex, like a good ways away from Hasselhoff, and
yeah, just use their dumpsters.
Yep. Trash Ninja. Yeah. Ash had a name for the game. And then he'd give me a beer.
Good work.
Good work. Let's see here. What? Dogs or bears?
Bears. They are like giant dogs.
Yeah. How'd you get started writing that? Would you?
So I was living on Lytle Street at the time, and I was living on an Academy around the corner from the How I Became the Bomb House. And I had written just the first verse of it. Bears, they shit in the woods, or so I've been told. They live pretty good. And so I'd written the first verse and the chorus, and I recorded it on a dictaphone, and I went over to the house where the band How I Became the Bomb lived, and I played it for John Burr. And I said, I'm retiring this song immediately. This is like the dumbest song I ever wrote, but I want someone to hear it. And so then for the next 5 or 6 months, the inspiration for the song was actually an NPR story about bears, and it was about how bigger, more aggressive bears can keep smaller, less aggressive bears away from the food sources, so it affects their diets, where the bigger bears eat more fish and protein type stuff, and the littler, less aggressive bears have to. And I was like, damn, even bears are scared of bears. Like, it's like, holy moly. So I wrote the song, and I played it for John, and then for like the next 3 or 4 months, every time I had a show, John Burr would show up and be like, play bears. And I'm like, it's not even a song, man. Like, I haven't even, like, I quit. I started writing it. I thought it was dumb, and I retired it immediately. I played it for you because I like you. You're a friend of mine. And he was like, no, play bears. And then finally, like, it just came out, and there I was playing bears. And then later I got a book about bears and realized that I was factually inaccurate with 99% of my lyrics. I had a good guess that I was, wrong about most of that stuff. But,
Yeah.
It's the song I might be able to outrun a bear, but I'll never outrun that song, right?
But they are like big giant dogs.
They're like giant dogs, and they want to kill you.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill you.
Yeah.
They want to be left alone.
So that's probably your most asked for song, probably.
Yeah. I keep wanting to make a music video for it.
Yeah.
But where am I going to get a bear suit? I got to get a bear costume.
And
someone willing to wear it while I play guitar. Maybe I should have done that as part of the musical act anyway.
I'm sure you could get Anthony Myers to wear a bear suit.
He'd probably be the one to find it too.
He might have it.
He might actually have one.
I know from living with him for a short period of time, he's got a goat mask because I gave it to him.
Well,
it screams, but he probably has
I got some phone calls to make.
Yeah. Let's get him on the line.
That's the
Here's a question. Is that peppermint Dr. Bronner's in there?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So I use peppermint Dr. Bronner's, and everybody always says, "Oh yeah, I like that, but don't use it on your private parts. Don't use it on your butthole, because man, it burns." I'm like,
that's
well,
the best
it's
part
like
about
that's
it.
exactly. I'm like, that's the reason I buy it. How else am I gonna know in my life?
Makes your shit tingle, man. I'm actually gonna...
All right. So I'd like to get into more about being a rose rat and the red rose.
So I actually got a job working the record shop in the back, and it was paid in commission of like, you know, so I would use it as I sat there and I did my schoolwork for MTSU and just did my homework while I was there, and then I got like 10% store credit of all sales that I made, or something like that. So, you know, if people came in and bought records, I bought records, and if they didn't, I got my homework done. So that's how I got in with the Red Rose. And then the record shop closed, and I ended up getting a job working actually as a barista. I had some barista experience before that up in Ohio. But yeah, the Red Rose was wild. Like, I just kind of fell into that job. Mainly because they could pay me in store credit when it was the record store, and then I was around so much that it was like, well, you're around all the time, might as well make somebody a coffee.
Yeah.
So here's the recipe for the beer cheese soup. So, and then I guess I started doing some booking there just out of proximity. Out of like, you know, my band would always play there, and then like I would bring events to the Red Rose and be like, well, hey, can we book this? Can I get this going on? And that was kind of my foray into booking in Murfreesboro. Was just touring bands would contact me, and then I'd get a bill put together and pitch it to the Red Rose, and they would 99% of the time say yes. So
did you do that kind of with the grind also?
I actually only played the grind once.
I think I was there.
Yeah, you were probably there. And whoa, maybe I didn't. Maybe I just attended it. Oh yeah, I just attended a show at the grind once, and then was duped into playing 3 songs at the end. That's what it was.
That makes sense.
You know, I mean, there was a guitar. I was handed a guitar, and I was like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. Yeah, so I was in and out of the grind. Like I lived literally at the Red Rose, but by the time the Red Rose closed, I became a Judo Moody's guy for a minute until they closed. That was a coffee shop. It was on Greenland. It was above, I think that tattoo parlor's there. There was that, it's like right across from Dirty Gems. Like across Gunnarsson. Mm-hmm. You know, where the pub, that little side street where the pub and Dirty Gems parking lot is.
Yeah, where
it's that building that at one point was Textbook Brokers, and then it was that Murfreesboro Cafe, or it was some like Euro place, and then above it was the coffee shop, and then that became a tattoo parlor. I think maybe the whole building did.
Okay, yeah. So Blue Raiders is in the building, or was Texas Brokers in the building next to that? But yeah, Absolute Inc. was upstairs.
Yeah. And upstairs used to be, it was Judo Moody's at one point.
Bike shop too. It was Moab.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Moab back in the day.
Yeah, that predates me. So.
Yeah.
And then I just found out Moab moved to, you know, I continued to think that Moab was like right off the square, and then somebody's like, no, they're like over here now, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just down from the Mac.
Yeah. But
I forget where they were at before that. But
then I kind of quit going to coffee shops, and the grind was always like a little bit out of my way. Every time I moved, it became like they'd move and be on. It's like, no, I'm closer to the grind. It's like, no, the grind's over here. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think there was 5, then the speed shop, and then also TFG, which was on Vine Street. So I think he had like 7 really different locations.
Right. The one next to O'Charlie's is the only one I went to like on a semi-regular basis.
I think that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. They used to have fires in the parking lot.
Paige Crockett and someone else did school girl wrestling and Ring of Fire.
I missed that one.
Yeah, apparently one of the fires they started was a Ring of Fire, and the fire department got called, and Tony was like, they were like, you have to have a permit.
Wrestling, man.
Yeah, they were like, you have to have a permit. And he was like, what permit? And they were like, and then they left. Like, I don't know. Tony had some kind of effect on people like that.
right. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, I quit having a regular coffee house like sometime in that period.
Sucks to lose that.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, spaces to congregate. Like, I kind of miss that, but I'm probably at the point where I've aged out of it, where the kids are probably going somewhere cool and they're probably all congregating and doing their thing.
Right.
And I'm just old enough to be not invited, and that's okay.
I've been thinking a lot about that too. Yeah. Hey
kids, tell us where your secret spot is.
Right. Yeah. Miku's a weird guy that sits in the room.
I'll throw some money your way.
Yeah.
let me support your local businesses.
I can drive.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's happened a few times where it's like I lost Hastings and then
oh gosh,
and then the last grind, and then I started going to the Borough because Tony started closing earlier, and the grind was gone. Now the Borough's gone.
See, and that's the other thing is like the bar kind of replaced that for everybody, the social congregational kind of thing. And like I've been sober now for like 10 years, and my stance has always been I have no business in a bar unless I'm playing.
Yeah. And
I think that maybe we all need to reevaluate where we're spending our time and maybe come up with an answer that's not everybody, because everybody's like, meeting people is impossible without going to the bar. It's like, nah, well, let's change that. Let's figure that out.
We just need a coffee shop where you can smoke cigarettes inside.
Right. Which means it has to be a 21 and up coffee shop, or whatever the law is currently, if you're going to be allowed to smoke cigarettes inside.
Oh shit. Okay.
I remember in 2007 when they banned smoking inside except for establishments over a certain age. Yeah. Like, it was either 2007, 2008. And, God, I shouldn't even tell this story. But, yeah, I mean, at Sir Pizza, like, the policy used to be somebody had to be smoking at all times. I mean, we were so overstaffed. It was all just, like, people in bands and, like, just... music scene randomness. And so we always had one person on cigarette break, and then whoever was answering the phones was 99% of the time smoking a cigarette.
Nice.
But I mean, those are the old days.
Yeah. I remember the smoking laws and it being like a thing where it couldn't get into Wall Street anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Helvig, you would be tired of going to a show, and he'd come out and he'd give me a wristband. I'd go into the back Wall Street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what we need, is a coffee shop with an outside area where you can smoke. And because I think the all ages venue thing is super important. There were a lot of kids that were disenfranchised when it went like that, because they were 18 but they could no longer get into the borough.
Yeah.
So, or they could no longer get into Wall Street. And so they had nowhere to go see the shows. But, what can you do?
Yeah. And now they just need their vapes.
Right.
So, and then you used to play Wall Street too, right?
Oh, yeah. I've played.
Mostly downstairs. So.
No, my band, The Bang Up, we actually played upstairs like a ton.
Oh, yeah.
I played acoustic downstairs, but actually for the first time I saw my wife, my now wife, for the first time playing at Wall Street. She was ignoring my band because she was like a huge fan of Happy Birthday Amy, with Amy from the Proto Men. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was Cutthroat Junction, but I mean, we were all fans of all of Amy's projects. But I saw my wife from across the room. She was all the way down to the end at the bar, and I was on stage, and I just saw her hair, and I was like, oh, I got to talk to that girl. And then, like, I said hi, and then I didn't talk to her for 5 more years. And then it turned out she was, the ex of a friend of mine, and then eventually now here we are, married with a kid.
Yeah.
Regardless. But yeah, we also played downstairs. I had an acoustic act called Mogira, which was me and Linwood Regensburg. He was playing acoustic guitar and I was just singing. And we did shows downstairs. And then our band, we played upstairs a bunch. So the good old saggy floor. You could feel the floor buckling under you.
Yeah.
And then eventually that got too much and they moved everything downstairs at one point or something.
Yeah, they turned the upstairs into a pool hall.
Right.
And then I think they had like a small stage maybe, or they just opened up the corner.
I don't know.
Downstairs, and then I don't know. Wall Street does any shows anymore.
Right. Is it Wall Street anymore?
Yeah.
Everything's changing.
It's still Wall Street. Yeah, I know. It's still Wall Street, but now Whiskey Dicks is where the...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah, they moved into the old courthouse
like,
where everyone would end up after going to Whiskey Dicks. They just moved Whiskey Dicks.
Yeah, they had to move it somewhere that their clientele was familiar with.
Yeah.
So, get them in there.
They're like, I used to drink right here.
Right.
Where I was... Yeah.
This is where I got my first public intox charges.
Yeah. Or like the time that someone got that was a big deal. Someone got a public intox standing in front of three brothers.
Yeah. Oh, that happened on a couple occasions.
Yeah, and I just remember uproar about that. It was it wasn't a Whiskey Dicks person. It was a Three Brothers person.
Right.
And they weren't causing any problems. And Whiskey Dicks is over here across the street, pissing in gutters.
I used to deliver pizzas to Whiskey Dicks. One of the bartenders used to order back when it was further down, the original location, and I don't know. That building's not for me. I'm glad they welcomed me in to give them their pizza, but
Yeah. Pretty soon before I quit drinking, me and my friend Mary Beth went into the new Whiskey Dicks, and I paid the cover, and then she was like, "No,
nope,"
and I didn't even get to the bar to buy one, and I turned around and left, and that's the closest I've ever been inside or of either of the Whiskey Dicks or
yeah. I haven't even seen the inside of the new one.
Yeah. Did you play the gyms or pub or any of those?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we used to. In fact, I think it was my group of friends. I think it was a show I played. Is one of the reasons gyms never had shows anymore. There was always at the end of shows, there was beer and water all over the floor, and their hot dog station was always ruined. And
they had a hot dog station.
Do they not anymore?
No.
5-cent hot dogs.
Yeah, they used to have a little hot table, a little hot plate, and warm water with hot dogs in it, and 25-cent hot dogs on the honor system. But yeah, we used to have shows there, and we'd play right up against that wall, and golly, that place was a mess. If you go back there was a movie that no one's ever seen that got made called Some Kind of Dragon, which featured a made-up band called the Glitter Dragons, and I think the Glitter Dragons. I think they played Wall Street and got banned from there, but they played one of the shows that was featured in this mockumentary about this non-existent band, and the Bang Up, my band at the time played we played the role of a band called the Brothel Rockets, and we were the rival band of the Glitter Dragons, and the movie was the story of their rise to failure or whatever. There's scenes in there from a show that we all played at gyms, and then we used to play at the pub. We played there too. Every Saturday at one point, Sean Maloney and Jacob Spaulding and McQueen used to do a bunch of they'd do a thing called the Unzipped Fly. Jason Jones, who I think now works for Rhino Records, Rhino Entertainment or something.
Staging?
Say what?
Rhino Staging?
No, Jason Jones.
Oh yeah.
he curated like the new Replacements box set or something.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
He's doing like really cool stuff. Regardless, they used to DJ an event called the Unzipped Fly, and it was just a rock and roll dance party where they just played deep cuts of like Gang of Four and Modern Lovers and all that good stuff from the 70s. And they'd often do it as an after party where we'd book a show at the Borough, and then everyone from the show would just walk down to the pub and have this like after like super late night until like the bar shut down dance party. And I still have a bunch of flyers from that. Have you posted links to the flyer archive that Jayme Brunson was doing?
No, but we need to.
Yeah, I don't think I've even seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I loaned out my entire flyer collection to her at one point, and she documented like 8-9 years worth of flyers, Murfreesboro specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look up what the website is, but
Is it Atlas? Is it the same one that Jake? See, Jake Umberger's also doing.
no,
website, and I don't know if
is
there
that the
is.
Murfreesboro scene documentary?
No, it's like called Atlas or something like that.
Okay.
I also need to plug that in,
Yeah,
but there's things definitely going on.
but yeah, Jayme scanned a ton of flyers that I had, and those are online, and I think assistance was asked for, so if anybody's got more stuff and information, I'm sure she would love to see that, or, get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to contribute to that, and I definitely.
But I also think, I kind of feel like documenting stuff for personal reasons is one thing.
Uh-huh.
Once you start documenting, like, Murfreesboro's crazy. When I first moved here, it was to attend Middle Tennessee State University for the recording industry program. But a big chunk of that was because of Sponge Bath Records, which I had heard of while living in Dayton, Ohio. And so, like, all those bands like Self and the Katies and, like, even Count Bass D, like, all that music scene stuff had reached my ears in Ohio. And so I was, like, super excited to move down here where there was like a really healthy scene that Rolling Stone was talking about being, Murfreesboro's the next Seattle. That was like the first time they said that, like in the late 90s. And y'all, I moved down here, and then Sponge Bath was like totally closed. And I was just like, so I missed it, by a month and a half or something. And then it took me a little while to get plugged in. But what I was going to say is, like, Murfreesboro is absolutely insane in the sense that, like, we have repeatedly had amazing local music scenes that are completely unrelated.
True. Like,
we've had, like, good, DIY indie stuff. We've had a really healthy punk scene lately. We've had all sorts of stuff. Like, the college had its own music scene for a while. And it's just kind of been amazing. And there were rock bands from like the early 90s that like I have listened to that are, really great. We've consistently every like 5 years or 3 years put out an entire scene worth of music checking out. And so when you're documenting stuff for yourself, that's awesome. But like I find that like it takes a certain kind of person to give a shit past their own little window of when, oh man, the Murfreesboro scene used to be great. We used to have this. Mm-hmm. We used to have that. And then it's like, well, yeah, but then 2 years later we had this and we had that. And, so it's kind of weird because each documenting entity wants to document themselves as like the pinnacle of like when Murfreesboro was the greatness.
Right, because it's like their rose petal glasses
right.
of...
And I think that all of the different eras need to be documented to a degree. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard to look at and be like, what is more important than what, Mm-hmm. I like to just look at, what's going on now because we have like some really cool stuff going on now.
That's true.
But,
parking garage shows.
Yeah, now I find out about parking garages. But with my luck, that means that those shows have just stopped like 12 minutes ago. Like, no more. You know, 'cause I show up late to the scene all that. It's like, oh yeah, SpongeBob Records, they closed like a month ago. Yeah. We have parking garage shows. Yeah. Didn't you start that show in the Bell Street parking lot?
Yeah, they said something about our park garage shows on Bucket City Mouthwash. We have to move.
And now we got shut down.
Shit.
That's why this town can't have nice things.
Yeah, Bucket City Mouthwash.
But
so
here's a question: when are you getting interviewed?
Next.
Yeah, we were gonna do it today, but
okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Do it next week. We've done one.
Okay.
We've done one, but we're gonna do a video one.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And he's got some stuff going on.
Because shit, this whole time I'm sitting here like, oh, you should just be interviewing Jason.
No.
I gotta work the knobs and make sure everything's going okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what future plans do you have?
Oh God, I don't think too far past my next practice. And I haven't even figured that one out. Like, it used to be so hard to get bands together and like have a practice schedule, and now I'm having that kind of trouble as a solo act.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Didn't you used to say like if you practiced too much?
Yeah, then I'd get good and nobody would recognize my songs. They'd be like, oh, who's this? Gross. What happened to Henry? He's supposed to, screw up a GCD progression right now. It's like, but he played it flawlessly.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, people, if I got out of the, I don't know, my music has always kind of been more of a like story time with Grandpa Daggs kind of thing. Of here's some songs for you kids, gather around. I'm gonna tell some jokes about some bears. But yeah, I think I'm about to sit down and start writing again. I don't have any shows lined up. The retrospective record came out, the end of 2023. I still have copies of that for sale. But I'm thinking about new music. I've got a ton of ideas and nothing moving. Mm-hmm. Nothing set in stone, nothing planned, and also I'm supposed to be practicing right now. But I don't know, depression, work schedule, kid, I mean, at least I can't blame my drinking problem anymore. So I got that going for me.
Yeah.
So
I understand that. I get behind on something and I'm like, I can't blame it on that anymore either.
right.
It's just like, this is just me.
Right, but that's a good thing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you also, your Spotify, you have some stuff up.
Yeah. We actually just Purple Sky Blues recordings in Kansas. They just put out that retrospective 12-inch. And then I just said, hey, you guys have space for hosting. How about you put, you have that album up. How about we do a just re-release of all my back catalog? We just finished that up in May. So now everything that I've released except for one thing that is partially released on there. There was a Henry Daggs Seth Moore split cassette at one point, and I think the Henry Daggs side is actually on one of the releases that's in there. But yeah, so everything's out on Spotify now. So now I have to write and record new music because I can't rest on my laurels. I can't say, well, I don't know, guys, just re-release that. Just put that on digital. It's never been on digital before. I actually found out that a friend of mine has a copy of the Mogira CD, though, and I want to get a copy of that. I have records that... The one that most recently came out on Spotify, called The Ghosts of Henry Daggs, that came out in 2012, and I have not heard it since, 2013. I just put them out. I was drunk all the time. I sold every single copy. It wasn't recorded on my computer. The computer that it was recorded on crashed and burned, and I hadn't heard a copy of that record until it just came out in May. So now I'm kind of looking at other stuff, but I'm definitely interested in writing and recording some more stuff. I've been talking to some people about actually getting a band together. Joey Glisson is always talking about being there to drum for me. Connor Stith and I have joked about him playing guitar for me, and he plays in Caregiver and The Low Blow and Achilles Heel. So I mean, I've got like super talented people like in my orbit, but a lot of this has to do with my own like inability to ever execute anything. But yeah, I'm hoping to eventually do a full band recording, if not like a set of shows with a full band.
Yeah, I get it. We've been trying to get Sick Burnout going for like 2 years, and it's like the slowest progressing band for a band that's called Sick Burnout.
Right. I think at some point you lose the name.
Yeah, I think so. We're just burned
until
out.
Until there are streaks on the side on the asphalt.
Yeah.
And
we're right there off of Rutledge, where Tony is.
Right.
So he could totally put some streaks on the asphalt.
But yeah. Get to work. We'll both play shows. We'll play shows together.
Yeah. Where are we at?
We're getting real close.
Okay, good.
10 minutes-ish.
How much good stuff is there?
Yeah.
It's all good.
I thought you were going to say about 10 minutes-ish.
Yeah, so any future wise words for anyone making pizzas?
Making pizzas.
Or making music? Pizzas to circles?
When I was touring, I had a secret formula. And basically, I mean, it worked for me because first off, you want to do show trades. You want to build up relationships with people. I had this lucky, like, element of I had lived in Dayton, Ohio. I had lived in Kansas City. I had a second home in Springfield, Missouri, as in, like, I was just part of that community based on friends, you know. And I literally set up my tour circuit so that every other show was like a homecoming show. And I managed to have a 2 to 3 week circuit based on guaranteed gigs where I knew people were looking out for me. I wasn't, I didn't know if I was going to get paid, and I didn't know, but I knew I'd show up, I'd have a place to sleep, have something to eat, and probably get pretty decently paid. And so, like, if you can put together a circuit like that where you have, like, established, like, a sister city or a secondary hometown, like, somewhere where you've put down some roots, and you build your circuit, instead of doing, like, the small circuit, working your way out and making a name, and then just doing, like, oh, here's a weekender, here's whatever, now I'm in Kentucky. Instead of doing that, I was able to jump from here to here and then use all of those as circles that were moving at the same time. And also, I never worried about going to New York because, like, I had no business in New York City, especially because, like, all these bands just dream of, like, oh, we're going to go play New York, especially when there was, CBGBs and that kind of stuff. Even bands in the 90s would just be like, oh, we gotta do it. We got to go play CBGBs. And it's like, there's 1,000 shows going on in New York City on the night that you're playing. I guarantee it. No one's ever heard of you, and you have no other, like, contacts within 800 miles. And so, like, that's kind of part of my advice is, like, dream big, but dream reasonably. Like, set up some goalposts that aren't like, I mean, hell yeah, go play New York City. But, like, figure out how you're going to do it without, like, getting yourself stranded or, I'm sure we all have some stories about being stranded, and whatnot. The other thing is just to do it. Just, do it. Like, play a show in a parking lot. Get your friends there.
Yeah.
But also support your friends when they do it. When they do it, go be there for them. And if you can, I mean, I don't know. I'm just an old guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And
This whole thing's gonna be me, like, just like looking over here at the screen. Like, do I look all right? Am I good? Am I good?
Making sure he's not like doing other things.
Fill in my mustache, make it look better.
Right. Get rid of my stuff.
I did shave my neck before I got here, just not my.
I cut mine.
I was just, yeah. I realized it was you had video elements now, and I was like,
yeah. Shit. I think that's a good podcast. I think that's
all right.
I need.
I hope there's stuff worth getting in there.
Yeah, no.
And I'll send videos if I find any. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I guarantee that you guys know exactly as much as I do about videos of me on the internet, which is close to zero. Like they're out there,
yeah.
But I mean,
I know there's like recordings of
there.
like,
There is this one of me doing bears at it was a folk festival outside of Chicago, and Paul Barabeau was playing, and during my set he was sleeping under a table in the back. And during the song Bears, like, I got up and I walked into the crowd and I was singing Bears, and I stopped playing the guitar and I started just clapping and getting everybody else clapping. And then I got to the table and he's sleeping under the table and I'm just like pounding on this table rhythmically. And yeah, so there's a video of that, but
we'll find that.
Good old Paul Barabeau. Yeah. I don't know if that name means anything to anyone anymore. Peaches, no. Kimya Dawson used to sing songs about him or play shows with him. I think he's referenced in one of those songs. Regardless.
Yeah, that's always cool when
old people
reference
shit.
their friends and songs. And
maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go home and just make a song referencing my friends, and then they have to listen.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to increase my Spotify listeners by 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right.
That was. Oh, bears. They shit in the woods, or so I've been told. They live pretty good. I'm talking about salmon and berries and ham and cheese, 'cause when the campers leave the site, the food is free. How fucking sweet would that be? Oh, bears. They're like giant dogs, but they wanna kill you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my bears. They're like giant dogs, but they wanna kill you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh now. When I say bears, I'm not talking about football. 'Cause the last time I checked, there aren't any bears living in Chicago. Maybe at the zoo, but I don't know. And when I say bears, I'm not talking about Yogi or Boo Boo. 'Cause you're safe from them as long as you do not have a picnic basket. And when I say bears, I am talking about giant fucking beasts. Man-eaters of the woods. They're like sharks with fur. Oh, bears. They're like giant dogs, but they wanna kill you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my bears. They're like giant dogs, but they wanna kill you, to kill you. Oh my God, oh my I'm gonna get a gun. I'm not gonna be scared. I'm not gonna run. Oh yeah, and me, I'm gonna go into the woods. I'm gonna shoot me a big one. I'm gonna bring home the goods, baby, bring home the goods, baby, bring home the bears. They're like giant dogs. They wanna kill you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my bears. They're like giant dogs, but they wanna kill you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my bears. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.